Yes, boss. Let's do it, man. Living in confusion has negative consequences. So let's go ahead and just dive right into it, right? So living in confusion, whether some people want to believe it or not, it's not a good feeling. If you've been there before where somebody's had you in your head, altered your world to make you not see what's in front of you, it's a dangerous thing, bro, and it's not cool at all. You get what I'm saying? What you need to understand is that when you're living in confusion, or you put a person into a state of confusion, there's a lot of negative consequences that can come behind that, right? So example, what you need to understand is when you put a person in a state of confusion, you're going to wear down their emotions. You're going to start to drain them. And what people don't understand is this, right? When you're confused and you're not seeing reality or things for what it is, there can be a lot of more negative impacts besides emotional distress. Because when you're in your emotions, you're in your feelings, that's going to make you more prone to making more bad decisions. And when you're in your feelings and you're not thinking logically, you're riding off of your emotions. And it's basically like law. If you make decisions out of your emotions or when you're in your feelings, you're not going to really make the best decisions. You get what I'm saying? So example, let's say you probably could have had a person that you believe was your friend for X amount of years, depending on however the time is, right? And this person might have sold you a dream like, yo, we're the best of friends, or this friendship might have gone on for 5-10 years, whatever the case may be. And you're comfortable, you let your guards down, and you didn't know throughout that whole time frame, this person probably stabbed you in the back, or while you're in their face, they're kosher with you, but as soon as y'all depart, they talking smack about you. They probably cause you to miss opportunities. The girl you probably like, that they know you like them, they probably told them a dirty secret and ran them off and changed the way that they look at you. You got to understand that little instances like this, that's just on a small scale, it can cause a lot of confusion for people and a lot of emotional distress. And as well as that, if you've seen that somebody was around you and you weren't able to spot or pinpoint certain things, that's going to make you want to look at yourself a certain kind of way. Mind you, what's the purpose of putting somebody in a state of confusion? To make them question their own self in reality. Yo, you had this person around you for about 5-6 years. How comes you ain't know that there was a slime ball? Sometimes you got to give yourself leniency, because there are some people out here that have more worldly experience than what we would have. So it's like these little instances just builds up our resume to understanding how people move. It's like a pattern, dog. If you can catch the pattern, I used to always say this all the time, if you can catch the pattern, you can beat the algorithm. You don't have to fall short to people in their games. All you have to do is decide to fall back and not play their game. You get what I'm saying? Because it's downright, if a person does something to you, let's say you're choosing peace and the next person's choosing violence. You're the one that's in the wrong when you're choosing violence, because this person didn't meet you that way, especially if they're a person that's not deserving. You got to really chalk it up that if you do things like that, you can't really blame other people. But you have to understand that if you did your best in a situation, no matter what it is, friendship, relationship, job, whatever, you can't really be mad at yourself. You're just probably mad that things probably didn't end up the way that you wanted it to. You get what I'm saying? Now, as well as that, when you're in that state of confusion, as I stated before, it can lead to bad decision making. Now, stick a pin and go back into what I was saying. If you put somebody in a state of predicament where their emotions are wrapped up, or you're backstabbing them and you're crossing them, I'm going to tell you right now why I said that there's negative consequences to that. Because you have to think of it. If you do something to somebody, right, and you know it's screwed up, and you know you wouldn't want somebody to do that to you, what can you chalk that up as? Being evil, being foul. Because, spin it again in this narrative. If you put somebody or sign somebody up or put them in a situation that they never asked to be in, or they're not deserving of, that can show you how foul you are, bro. Because if somebody tried to do that to you, you would basically have a fit. Example, yo, I could smash this dude's old lady. Let me go ahead and do it. I'm not saying just because you can do something, you should do it. Just understand that there's negative consequences for when you do certain things like this. Being petty, trying to put somebody in a state of confusion. Because I'm telling you right now, when you try to alter somebody's reality and change their life to something else, it can in turn bring back negative consequences to you. And as well as that, putting a strain on the relationship. I said this about my mom. I don't got to go into it. If you do a horrible job as a parent, something that you're supposed to do is, I'm not saying being a parent is easy. It's very hard. But love, care, and appreciate your kids. Don't try to use them. You do certain things and your kids gain wind of what it is that you're doing. Friendship, relationship, family-wise, that's going to cause a strain on the relationship. So you're going to have people look at you weird like, yo, why? Example, and matter of fact, if a person is a deep thinker, that's when you really screw yourself up, because I'm a deep thinker. If a person does something to you, you're going to have to think about it. Yo, why did they do it? Some people think about it and say, that person was in a screwed up predicament. I'm the type of person, I go a little bit deeper than that, and I think from all angles. And if I add it up from all angles and I see that it's not a good answer, you're screwed. You got to understand this. Some people, they ride off of emotions and they do certain things to harm other people, hinder them. That's messed up, bro. That's completely messed up. And I'm going to tell you another reason as to why I said living in confusion can have severe consequences. Because you got to understand this, right? If you're putting a person in a state of confusion, I already said this, nobody wants to be confused. Who causes confusion? The devil. You get what I'm saying? You cannot be out here doing foul things to people and not expect that there's going to be negative consequences. Let's say you might have taken somebody's time, swindled them from something. If that person isn't sound in their mind, that can cause a fatality. Somebody can get harmed. Somebody can get unalived. Because you got to understand something. If a person chalked it up in their life, yo, I did everything right, or I crossed my T's here, I dotted my I's here, why didn't I go far? And you'll be shocked to know the person who harmed you or stopped you up is somebody close to you, somebody you ruled out they wouldn't do that to you, that will play with you mentally. And imagine if you did that to a person and it was all out of jealousy. Let me tell you something, jealousy can go far. People can be jealous of somebody and let their jealousy want to unalive somebody, dog. I explained to you my situation about that. You got to understand that when a person is extremely jealous of you, they'll take their jealousy to far heights, bro. And there's no telling when it'll come back or if it'll come back. You got to understand that a lot of people are very wicked, man. A lot of people are sad on the inside. And as well as that, just understand this, right? The longer you stay in a state of confusion, that's going to cause more health issues for you. And a lot of people don't talk about that. When you're in a state of confusion, it's like as I stated before, you don't know what reality is. You don't know if you're coming. You don't know if you're going. You don't know your left from your right. It may feel like it's morning, but it's nighttime. That is a screwed up state to be in. That's how dementia started. That's how a lot of people develop a lot of health issues. Because why? You being in a state of confusion, it can cause you a lot of anxiousness, a lot of anxiety, a lot of you feeling hollow on the inside. Yo, I'm depressed. I need comfort. Let me go for something that can comfort me. Let me tell you something. Being in confusion causes a lot of damages. Look at the state of the black community. Look at the confusion that we've went through and the hell that we've had to go through just for us to even rebuild ourselves or even dig ourselves out of a hole or put ourselves in a better predicament. That's a clear example of being in confusion right there. You got to understand something, man. Being in confusion is not a great thing. And if somebody puts you in that state, I'm going to tell you like this, that person isn't your friend. Family member, relationship-wise, that person doesn't have your best interests at heart. Because putting a person in a state of confusion, that can in turn put them in some deep waters, bro. When you're in a world and you're lost, right? That means you're what? You're confused. Lost and confused is somewhat of the same thing. And to know that some of the people that cause your misdirection or cause you to be confused are people that were close to you. That's why I tell people, be careful of who you have around you. Just because somebody is your mother doesn't mean that they can act like an actual mother. Your father doesn't mean that they actually act like a father. A brother doesn't mean that they're actually blood like that. You get what I'm saying? You got to learn to read the room. Don't be naive to people and the things that it is that they're willing to do. Because you got to understand that in this world, People are willing to do shiesty and foul things if they don't have the integrity or the moxie or the work ethic to get to somewhere or another destination on their own. There's people in the world looking for a footstool or somebody that can help build their dynasty while they go ahead and dispose of them like they were nothing, dog. I'm telling you right now, being in confusion is not a good feeling, right? Besides of all of the whole poor decision making and relationship strain, you got to understand this. When you're confused, this is going to increase your chances of being vulnerable to people. And you got to understand this. When you're confused, I just said it, you're lost. You need guidance. You need direction. If you're not understanding of the situation, that can open the door for somebody to come and manipulate and trick you. Example, look at the music industry. I'll make this whole topic easy. Look at people who got into the music industry thinking, yo, I'm gonna be a music star. I'm gonna have the ability of making money. Then they find out, yo, my label gave me an advance. I'm broke now. That's how a lot of them had to end up going to party with Diddy, dog. I just heard the YK Osiris story. If you heard about his story, that's friggin' evil, dog. Because the man was in a screwed up state of a screwed up predicament. No real friends around him. I think they said Ray J was the person who got around him and sent them to Diddy, dog. Ray J was basically pimping that nigga out and giving him to different rich people so they can fuck him and break him down mentally and destroy him. Remember that video when he came out and said, oh, this industry is demonic. They don't want you to know that this is not a blessing from God. The man was literally breaking down, talking about some, oh, I don't have nothing. That man was young and innocent. Forget about him. Look at some of the kids that got into the industry from young, like a Justin Bieber or Orlando Brown, that their parents signed them over to the industry. And now they feel like, yo, I'm in a state of confusion. I lost my manhood. I lost a lot of stuff. Why do you think some of these people are on severe drugs, dog? Because they can't cope with reality, dog. You have a father, your father didn't protect you. You have a mother, your mother didn't guide you correctly. You have a brother, your brother didn't treat you like a brother. That's why you have to believe the saying when people say, yo, family ain't family. I know people I could call right now that treat me way better than my own blood, dog. And it's like, these are people that I haven't known for all of these years, or I never grew up with them. You got to understand that a day one and a real one is not the same thing, bruh. You can have somebody that's a day one and they've never been a real one, dog. And you can meet a person that's a real one that was never a day one, bruh. You got to understand this stuff, dog. Living in confusion, you're going to burn up time, dog. You're going to impair your own understandings. Mind you, as I stated, the mind seeks consistency. It seeks order. So a person in a state of confusion and you don't know if you're coming and you don't know if you're going, you don't know your left from your right, that's going to alter your reality and how you perceive things. And to know that there are people who play these games to harm people, that's foul, bro. That's foul. That's the reason why we're not getting anywhere as a people, dog. And I'm telling you this right now. I've said it before. I'll say it all over again. When you put somebody in a state of confusion, you're basically altering their reality, dog. You're putting a person in a situation that they never signed up for. And I'm going to tell you this. There are people who do this stuff off of emotions. When you're in a state of confusion, it's going to cause long-term problems for you, dog. Let's say you're a person as a parent. You swindle your child for their time in life, right? And now you believe I have my child, they're not going anywhere. How would you like to know that you probably warped their mind and really altered the way that they think, and the way you may perceive that they'll handle you may be a change in reality? How do you not know that the girl that you were playing for all these years, she was loyal to you, cheating on her? Now this girl gained wind of all of the stuff that you really did. Now I want to marry this girl because I had my fun. I used all of her for all of her good. I got her out of her best years. Now I'm going to do something with it. Let me tell you something, bro. If you play games like this, dog, this last minute, let me come out at the finish line, or you know what, I know I put you in confusion. Let me say I'm sorry. Sorry can't fix certain things, bro. That's why there's consequences for people's actions. If you keep doing these type of things, it's going to have negative effects for you, bro. I don't like repeating the same thing, but there's some people who don't understand something. You feel me? If you're in a state of confusion, why are you confused? Why do you feel like you're confused? Yo, have you tried going elsewhere? Have you tried stepping back from that situation? It's a screwed up feeling, bro. And what people don't understand is when you're in a state of confusion, you can eventually develop suicidal thoughts, bro. Because it's not good. Mind you, I said it before. My mom put me in a state of confusion because she had a long game for me, bro. That's a part of what deals with narcissism and all of that. There's a longevity game to it. My mom had a fat ass life insurance on me, dog. And if I would have never came to my senses, I could have offed myself and my mom would have collected her little money. Game over for you. I got your daddy out of here and I got you out of here. Let me tell you something. If you put a person in confusion, you may not really see it like this, but you're really changing perception for that person of what they do in the future. I say it all the time. What my mom did, it changed my perception about women. I don't care how good of a person you are or whatever the case may be or what you're showing me, I'm probably not going to believe that because that wasn't my reality. Not saying things can't change for you, but understand what I'm saying when I say this. The longer you're in a state of confusion is the longer it's going to take for you to come out of it. The longer for you to see what's real reality. The longer for you to develop trust with people. In order for you to be put into a state of confusion or something to downturn for you, you probably had to trust yourself or trust the intuition or trust the person or whatever the case may be, and now things have changed for you. That's how people develop trust issues. And we don't realize it. We as humans, we cause our own demise sometimes. We do it to the next person. We do it to ourselves. I'm not saying everybody, you put yourself in this. What about the kids, like example per me, who was in a certain situation that they couldn't control? You had to fight to get out of that situation. You got to understand this stuff, man. Like, if you're playing this game, I'm telling you right now, because I could see very far down the road, if you're playing this game, bro, it's going to get real hard for you, real rocky, bro. Especially as well as that, when you're out here and you're causing people to confusion to the point where they trust you so much to where you can extract or whatever it is that you can out of them. Stop, man. It's not going to get you anywhere that you need to. And there's a lot of dangerous negative consequences behind that. You feel me? With that being said, remember this. Words can help you. They can hurt you. But here on my channel, I'm going to uplift you because everybody's a champion. Nobody's a loser, man. 444 the world. Peace.